Good morning. It is Saturday, the 7th of September, and this is the Saturday Show. Good morning and welcome to another daily weekend dose of the Saturday Show. I'm Carl as usual. No Douglas on today because it's international break. He doesn't do any present co-hosting with me during the international break. But he's gonna have a good time off. He was at the Scotland game as well. As well, we should have some guests coming on shortly. We know I saw Chris Welch will be joining us second once I send the link out. And also, we should have Mike Green also on as well with us today. Before we do that, let's get on with today's fixtures before we go ahead. So, in the Nations League today, we got England going away at Dublin to face Moldova in the Group 2 game. Germany at home to Hungary later on today in Group 3, along with Netherlands against Bosnia. And also looking at all teams as well, Ukraine at home to Albania and Georgia against Czech Republic. Let's go into the English League One. A majority of the games are all postponed due to most of the teams internet players that are on international duties. So we only have at least 3 EFL League One games today. Barnsley at home to Bristol Rovers. Rotherham, who's still with a poor difficult start, they go away to Charlton. It's a big game at the Racing Ground between Wrexham and Shrewsbury Town today. Only 2 games postponed in English League Two. Fleetwood and Salford City as well, along with Tranmere Rovers Wimbledon due to the players on international duty. But we got a majority fixture list in League Two today. Surrey Town face a trip upgrade to go to Barrow. Carlisle United face a trip down to West Yorkshire to go to Bradford City. Cheltenham at home to Harrogate Town. Grimsby Town face a trip away down to Chesterfield. Colchester United at home to Bromley. Crewe Alexandria against Wick Morecambe. Gillingham face a trip way up to South Yorkshire to face Doncaster Rovers. MK Dons home to Walsall. Port Vale face a trip way down to Newport. Notts County at home to Accrington Stanley. Those are the results as well. All the fixtures for today as well. We'll talk about that as well. Let's go for the messages. And good morning to Chris. Yes, hope we're well too. Chris, if you want to join us, I will send a link out to you on the live chat. You can join us as well. And also, we'll say good morning to Doug as well. We just had some announcements with a local legend, Yon Yeats, formerly passed away this past weekend. So a big respect, for that one. And like I said, it is a sad thing as well. We will talk about, we will catch up with Doug. Will do something about that at some point as well. But I am, like I said, enjoying it as well, and Chris will hopefully join us as well shortly. So we'll give him a second to send that link out. So hopefully he will join us for a daily dose with us today. And yes, it is the European Nations League, and we'll talk about England later on about that as well later on this show. But I wanted to delve into more in the EFL Leagues 1 and Leagues 2 as of today. But there is some news that I want to talk about, and hopefully Chris will join me and talk about this. It is regarding with the fallout with the ownership at Chelsea. We have been told that Clear Lake Capital are open to a buyout to Bowleys, but they will not sell their own shares at Chelsea. I'm not surprised. This has probably come out of the wilderness because of this, what's been going on. But we will discuss that more as well. We'll get into this as well. But it's not surprising of what's going on at Chelsea, especially with the structure as well. I think it's going to be a lot of interest to discuss this during the show in the next few seconds or so. But yes, it is what is going on at the moment with that as well. It's surprising. It's surprising where, and actually he's here. I'll say, good morning, Chris. How you doing? Hopefully Chris will join us second mute. So
Oh, Oh, sorry, there we go.
No worries. No worries. How you doing?
Forgot to tape myself off, pretty moved. And but yeah, I'm all good. I'm all good. Fans hope everyone else is good as well.
Good, good. Glad to hear from you as well. Good morning, Ant. Yeah, and yeah, everyone well's in the chat. Hope you have a good morning as well too. So, Chris, I had decent breaking news from the last 24 hours last night. It's regarding Chelsea, the ownership fallout, and like I said, this has been kind of rumbling for quite a while. But can I ask you, are you not surprised that there's been a bit of a fallout between Clear Lake Capital and Todd Bowley about what the vision of the club is, and especially Todd Bowley's being the head, he's being the public face of the consortium when they bought Chelsea 2 years ago. Do you think now something needs to change at Chelsea, and the Chelsea fan must be frustrated with them being in the news every single time?
Uh, how many years has he been there? Is it 2021 or 2022?
2022, I will say,
Oh,
yeah.
2022. So he's been there a couple of years now, and there's not actually progressed after they've actually decreased since he came in, and for some reason, I still thought in the long term they would still be successful under Todd Bowley. The only problem was it's just too many players in the squad. Too many players in the squad. If they didn't cut that down, they could have been successful. But your side there's no patience anymore over there, and I'm not surprised. Not surprised because the fans. I think majority of the Chelsea fans obviously definitely not happy with the decrease since he came in, and I'm not really. I'm not really. I don't think it's going to take any. I still think Todd Bowley will still be the owner at Chelsea, so to disappoint any Chelsea fans, but it's just talk at the moment with the capital state. But to be fair, I think it's been bumbling on. Was it months ago that this was mentioned as well?
Yeah.
I think it was months ago that Todd Bowley could be done by. I think it was 2026 or 2027. It was one of them years. So I still think he'll be Chelsea owner. I still think it's all talk at the moment, in my opinion. But it's just crazy at Chelsea. It really is crazy situation.
It is crazy. I have to admit, from what Bloomberg have said in their according to Bloomberg, there has been deteriorating in recent months, and both sides have assessed the options. Sky Sports News understand that Behind Bali and Clear will not sell any of their 61.5% of the shareholders under any circumstances. But for what I have been told, for what has been the Sky News do understand that the relationship between Iqbal and Bully can be described as professional. So is this a bit of surprise that regarding everything, it's just been one mess to another, especially of Chelsea, of Bowley, of how he's been talking, as a chairman, giving out big contracts to certain players and buying, players that have not got a chance to play and sell them to the club or the multi club model, Strasbourg and so forth. But do you think that Chelsea needs stability if Credit Capital wants stability compared to vice versa?
Well, I don't think we can't guarantee that the that the capital will be even better than Todd Bowley. We can't guarantee that. So it's not me protecting Todd Bowley, but I don't think it's a good sign that you're changing owners like straight away. Like 2 years, 2 years in as well. As Dan the man joins the stream, but it, they're just a mess, Chelsea. For me, they just needed to trim the squad down. Trim the squad down. I think Andy Chater said it on Talksport. Did them a transfer ban, even though he doesn't like to say that about his own club, but it might actually help them. give them a transfer ban. Because Todd Bowley, I don't know what it is about him. It's like it would have been one of them people in lockdown who probably raided all the supermarkets or the groceries for any price. So I thought he would learn from his mistakes from last season, but obviously he not. It's just insanity where he is.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have Dan on with us. Hopefully he will. Good morning, Dan. How you doing? It's been a while, so
It certainly has, boys. Hope you're all right. How are you doing?
we're good. We're good, thank you. We're good. We're good, and especially most of us are going through a bit of a murky weather up in Edinburgh. I don't know what it's like down in Carlisle or Burnley with the weather-wise, but yeah.
Well, it's actually pure style, Carl. Obviously, it's quite a miracle, in itself.
Well, fair point. Yeah, fair point. Well, hey Dan, it's good to join. Good for you to join us. Can we talk about Burnley for a bit? How they started the season? I know they're not playing because of the international break, but what's your fair assessment of Burnley first 4 games?
I dare say it's not been too bad. I mean, we probably basing it on the first 4 games, we have a better points tally off them first 4 than we did under Vincent Company. So there's sort of slight positives to look at when you look at it from that perspective. But I think it's the manner in which we won games at the start, especially when we were, opening the season away at Luton. 2 teams just come down from the Premier League. I expected it to be a really, really, really tight affair, and we wiped the floor with them. Yes, they were very injury hit, but still, we tore them a new backside, shall we say. And then we welcomed Cardiff to Turf Moor, and again, I thought it was going to be a tough game. Cardiff have done pretty well in terms of the players they've tried to bring in this year. They don't want to be staring relegation in the face. They've sort of been around like a Birmingham every now and again, just sort of trying and sitting in there. But we went and half them straight off the bat, and it's a strange one, that game as well, because we were poor. We were very, very poor, and that's not something you really say when you've just beat a team 5-0. But I think sometimes the opposition can make you look better than what you were, and we did really, really well. The Sunderland game, again, I don't know what it is with us playing games on my birthday and losing 1-0.
I totally forgot it was your birthday that weekend when you
It
lost.
was horrible. Every time there's a match day on my birthday, we lose 1-0. It was this, and oh no, I tell a lie, because we got beat. No, we did. I think 2015, 2014 maybe. We got beat in the cup by our Accrington Stanley 1-0 in the dying minutes on my birthday as well. So it's just not a good not a good day. Clearly, the day I'm born was just meant to be cursed. But we were poor. I watched the opening 10 minutes before heading out to go see Peter Kay, and trust me, two comical performances in one day. One were enjoyable, the other one not so much. So it was a tough one to take that. But Sunderland have started the season very, very well. So I can't blame. I can blame. We were crap.
Yeah,
I turned. We were
lie.
poor. We were absolutely poor. And then we've obviously had the game against our local rivals, which I was very, very, very worried about because it's so early in the season. Blackburn always seem to start the season very well before dropping off. So I thought, and plus we've just had a massive fire sale at Turf Moor. All our players have just up sticks and buggered off, wanted to leave because, Vinny's no longer there. So why stay at Burnley? Just, there's no other pull. It's not to do with the hot weather, obviously. So yeah, we've had to massively recruit on transfer deadline day, be very astute in who we brought in. But I think Scott Parker, again, not everyone's first choice. Personally, not my first choice. But I'm happy with what we've seen so far. Hopefully it can get better once the new players bed in. And I think a player like Hannibal, we've got a new Ashley Barnes sort of, shithouse on the scene.
Yeah, well, hopefully he does. Especially, he was touted by Man United quite a lot as one of the that could be in that the 11, but it never happened. So it's a good thing you got a player like his personality in.
Oh, massively, yeah.
Absolutely indeed, absolutely indeed. Well, let's move on, and we know England are facing away to Dublin to face Republic Island today. We know for that matter, Chris, it's Lee Castle's first game as interim charge. What do you expect from this game today later on?
Attacking football. more positive football on the itself there. It'd be interesting with the lineup. Like, does he do Swan or does he do with the players that he knows with Maduete, Gomez, who's the one, Livramento, Dibbs White, or does he mix it up? The lineup's going to be unpredictable. Like, we don't know if it's going to be Swan or he misses it up or he does full on youth. Hope he gives the likes of Gomez, Maduete a chance today. I know people say, "Oh, it's Republic of Ireland. It's their World Cup final," but for me, any team should be Republic of Ireland for me. Any lineup for me. So, but Republic of Ireland, they're going to be unpredictable as well. It's their U Minds' first game. How much? I think I can't pronounce his
I
last
know
name.
how Hangmas. Yeah,
Hamilton,
yeah.
He's from Iceland. I know that. Not the supermarket, the country.
The country that really, and that, well, the way what happened at Euro 2016 when he was joint manager, it was bloody hell. 2 days after the UK voted to leave, we get bloody bowled by a team that has got the same population as Coventry.
But yeah, I didn't know he was. I didn't even know he was joint manager of Iceland in.
Yeah, it was him and Lars Lagerbat, Lars Lagerbat. I think I remember. Yeah, they were joint managers before he took Hamilton took it solely. I think it was for the 2018 World Cup after for the 2018 World Cup.
Oh, just great. having a bit of a nightmare, bit of a curse in 2016, but I think they've done the right thing, appointing Lee Tardy on an interim basis. I don't think it wouldn't be my number one choice for the long term, but at least he's won something on that down south there at on the 21s, and look at Spain's manager. Spain's manager won the tournament with on the 18s, on the 21s, Nations League, and then went on to win the Euros, unfortunately, in the final. So interim is a good start. Yeah, it's a good start point for Newcastle for me, and it should really be not looking too ahead to Finland, but it should be 6 out of 6 points straight away.
Well, we will expect that as well. Dad, listen, we know players like James Trafford was part of Lee Carsley's under 21 winning Euro squad last year, and we know he's been touted as being an England number one goalkeeper. Is it sooner than later he will get back in the squad, because we know he was linked to a move to Newcastle come to the late of the transfer window, but is he really England's future number one goalkeeper going forward? Because we know Jordan Pickford's form is not being the best at Everton. I know Lee Carsley still trusts him, but do you see that things might change during the course of his interim manager at England?
Yeah, I think we're going to see a different, a different outlook from Lee Carsley as a manager. I think we're going to see someone who actually will pick players probably on merit. And I know we can say that now because he's picked a few different players. And, I think the last time that happened, it was in a film with Mark Bassett. Not the only England manager to ever do that. So, names on the back of a fag packet, I think it was.
Oh, yeah, back to the hedges, yeah.
But it was, it was. I don't think Trafford's ready whatsoever. Part of me doesn't think he's anywhere near that England setup. It's nice to be in and around it to boost his confidence, but he is one of the most confident lads I've not had the pleasure of meeting, but just from what I hear, him himself, he's a very well spoken and thinks so highly of himself, which there's nothing wrong with that. Having confidence in yourself is massive, and I think a lot more people should be like that. But when you're a footballer, I think it's very difficult to big yourself up and then put in shoddy performances. If you're going to big yourself up, back it up. So I don't personally think he's ready yet, but in time he well could be. I think he's got a lot more learning to do. He's made a massive jump from League Two football, League One football, to playing a few games in the Premier League, to then all of a sudden, probably in and out of the Burnley lineup at the moment. So I don't know exactly, but for me, under Lee Carsley, he may get a chance, and it may boost his ego a little bit, and make him feel like, right, come on, I can do this. But yeah, not ready. I mean, Carl, I want to ask you a question actually, because what's your thoughts that obviously Lee Carsley's come out with the I'm not singing the national anthem, I'm focusing on football, which I get to a degree, but I think fans don't want to hear that. I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
I think that's a good question, and I was going to answer it at some point. Listen, I get the understanding what this, but because of him being dual nationality, because he did play for Republic Island, he was born in England, but he had Irish, parents. It is a bit of a listen. Regardless your international, where you're from, if you're managing a country, a national international team, and even though you're not from that country, I think it's precisely you just should get on with it by singing the national anthem regardless. I know this might be a sticky situation for him because he's playing against the country that he played for. It's a hard. I can understand that, but I think you just have to get on with it and just do it. I think we've seen other foreign managers. I think for Hungary or Turkey, they have even and as well as Roberto Martinez, he did sing the Portuguese national anthem during the Euros. So it should not be an issue at all because we've seen other managers like Martinez have sing the national anthem of Portugal. He's learned it quite well, so it should not be. I don't know why. He should not make it as an issue. He should just embrace it because, especially you're being part of the English setup for quite a long time. He should, this should not be an issue. But I don't know, for that matter, why he's not doing it because of, especially if the Republic Irish fans, because of the history between Republic Ireland and the UK in general has not been the best relation. That's another matter.
Yeah.
But in a way, I think it should. He should. I think he should not make this an issue for the media to look into it. So yeah,
It's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, there's nothing that sends you more like proud and pride a little bit when you're looking at it on the TV or you're there. I suppose not so much when you're there, but when you're seeing it on the box and yet your players, your manager screaming the national anthem with passion. You can you sort of feel it. You actually feel it. You don't. It's a tough one. I mean, if he's focusing on football because his sole focus is I want to get this right because this is my one shot at potentially being the manager of my nation. So it's a tough choice. I think he'll be all right. I think he'll do fine for us. But it's gonna be. I think it's going to be a tough test. Like I say, we're over there in Dublin tonight, and let's see what the boys can put on show.
absolutely, Chris. What is your take on this as well? I'm glad Dan asked me the question. What is your take on this?
Again, it's one of them. I agree with both of you, and Declan Rice and Chattweya stayed Swiss nations from Ireland to England. I've seen them sing the England national anthem as well, and it's a hard one, and it is a hard one. I'm not going to criticise him, saying, "Oh, you're a disgrace for not singing the national anthem" and all that. It's people's personal choice, but I understand both sides of it. Because if you're manager of the nation, like you say, Roberto Martinez, even though it's kind of the same language, isn't it? Portugal and Spain, it's not that much different language, apart from it's a different country. And but yes, see what happens today. Yeah, it is today, isn't it? Today, yeah, today. Let's see what happens if he does sing it. If he doesn't sing it, he'll get criticised by the snobby media as always. And but he's entitled to do what he wants. He doesn't have to sing it. It's the players. It's when the players don't sing it. That's when they get heavily criticised. If the players don't sing it either, because the camera's always on the players mostly when the national anthem's singing anyway. So, but it's one of them. It don't bother me, to be honest with you. What I'm more bothered about is them results in the football pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Doug, so if you're talking about the Ireland England, it's on ITV now. They bought the rights back for the Nations League for England's home and away fixtures going forward for the next 3 to 4 years at least. He's got a question for us actually for all three of us. What kind of reception Grealish and Rice will get today?
I'll let you take the lead, Chris.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, not a very good one, I don't think, because I do follow like the Tottenham fan channel, who are all Irish, and yeah, they haven't got nice things to say about both of them. So, but it should play to our advantage. They should fly from it, because I would love it personally. If I was one of them, I would love being booed. I would just take it in my stride, but yeah, I don't think they'll get good reception at all, because they'll be told all sorts under the sun, because of the switch of the Ethans from Ireland to England, and I'll be very shocked if they get a good reception. I'll be very shocked about that.
Yeah, I understand that from my part. I think personally, I think they will embrace the reception from the Irish fans. I think they'll embrace it, especially the booing, because it will just really motivate them. Because you don't know, regardless, it can motivate you or demotivate you. But I think the biggest motivation is being in a hostile reception. I just think it will work. It works fine. I know with Dan Rice, sorry, not Dan Rice, Declan Rice, especially with his, he did play for Republic in the senior team, but only for friendlies. And I did see his clip that he was, about one or two clips about his allegiance, about what he was doing, and until he made that swap to England, eventually, I don't know, Grealish came through the youth ranks, but never got into the Republic Island senior squad, and then he made that allegiance as well. It's I think the Republic Island also need to think carefully as well, because especially you and Northern Ireland have the same scenario where your legions can swap anywhere between those two countries, because so I don't know if any of the Northern Irish players have been getting bad reception by playing for Republic of Ireland, but it's a hard one to. I don't think it should be an issue, because the Northern and Liverpool have the same issues as us. If one of them changes their allegiances, it's why we're making a big deal of it. I don't think we make a big deal when it comes to Northern Ireland and Republic Island players when they swap allegiances. So I it's a bit of a complex one. It really is. But Doug said, I think there will be. I think it will be hostile reception, but I think Grealish and Rice will enjoy it today. I think they will. There's no doubt about that. There really isn't. Let's go with the predictions. I think it's this. I think Carsley's going to have to get the first game out of the way to get play attacking, like what Chris said. I think England will win this either with 2-0. I think it will be very, very tough, but I think England can just get through it. I think Republic Island go through their huge transition at the moment, a huge transition because of the previous managers of Stephen Kenny, McCarthy back in briefly. It needs a huge transition with Republic Island, especially in this Nations League will play a part, especially if they want to get through. The World Cup is 2 years away, and it's going to be an expanded tournament. It's a question if they got the players ready, but it's still a young squad. So I think this game for Ireland is going to be too much for them. Chris,
I think I'm in the similar camp as you, but I've done one better. I've done 3-0 England. Even though people be like, oh, but that's an easy 3-0. It's not an easy 3-0. I think Ireland will get chances. But I think England will take their chances on Night Ireland for me. So I'll do 3-0 England.
Absolutely. Dan, what are you thinking of the result prediction today?
I dare say, just take it as it comes, whether it's a scrappy 1-0 or what. I think it's going to be that first game nerves for a lot of the young guns that have made the step up, or it's going to be a really rampant performance, I think. So personally, I take a smash and grab 1-0. They're always tough, these games, when you're playing rival nations. It's going to be a tasty one, I think.
Yeah, I do think that as well too. Right, let's move on because of the international breaks. Let's look at EFL's Leagues 1 and 2 preview. And Chris, I want to talk about your T-Car. They face a trip way down to Bradford City. It's not been a good start for you guys. I know you've only scored 3 goals so far this season. You're down in 21st. Is this a huge difficult game today for you guys down at Bradford?
On paper, it is, but Bradford are a bit inconsistent. They win one game, then they don't win the next game, and obviously we are now managers now. Paul Simpson did get sacked after the Tranmere game, which was I was absolutely delighted by the news. Look, he's done a lot for the club, Paul Simpson, but he went past his sell by date for me. He should have went in December. I've been on repeat saying that, and it just shows how new owners, they take no BS. They don't care yes if he's a local man, the Taro man, local hero. But it was good to see him during the week when he did that sack. He was still out and about, shopping in town with a smile on his face. So it was good to see that. And we need, obviously, the caretakers are now in charge. Matt Burt, obviously, the youth team coach, along with Jamie Deffitt, former player, and Stephen Wood, another, basically the assistant to Matt Burt in the youth team. And we lost during the week in the Tainter Trophy, as I call it, the EFL Trophy. A relevant game for me with the introduction of Premier League on 21 sides for me. Once they'd been introduced, no one takes it seriously anymore. But we played more positive football, which is what I want to see. We were playing terrible dinosaur football under Paul Simpson. It was depressing to watch, and I don't know expectations on the game today. I don't expect to win because it is the caretakers in charge. You can't really put that pressure on them, saying, oh, they should be expected to win. Next week we'll probably get more news on who will be the new head coach. Then a new sport director in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the assistant managers, Gavin Skeleton and Billy Batt, also departed, along with Simpson's son Jake, who was the club head of performance. Like I said, Matt Birch, along with Stephen Rudd and Jamie Devitt, have been placed in taking charge. You've lost 9 of your final 10 games last season and drew 1 of them last season. And despite what he did the rules were poor. Do you think, despite after he led you guys to promotion, nearly a year over a year ago, do you think that did just sour everything completely? Especially like you say, his playing style just wasn't the best. Especially he was the England under 20s side that led them to the under 20s World Cup in 2017 with some fantastic good players in that squad that is now supposedly in the England squad. Do you think that after that there was some signs that his downfall was coming when he came back to Carlisle in his second stint?
When we got promoted, obviously it was under the previous owners before the got brought out, and he's still the chosen victory in terms of that promotion. We would never expect it to be anywhere near the playoffs that season, and we were the massive underdogs going into the playoffs as well, with the teams that were there: Salford, Bradford, and Stockport. Stockport obviously had injuries and going into that final, so I felt it was a season too early for Carlisle to get promoted to League One, and obviously, but the recruitment wasn't done enough going into that League One season, and that's why we finished bottom of the table. And but obviously, Wayne Law is the favourite for the job. I'll be absolutely delighted with that, because I think the owners want to be ambitious, and Wayne Law is an ambitious appointment after managing the Championship. But he managed Plymouth in League 2, and look what he did there, got them into League 1, and started to build and started the foundations for them to get into the Championship before he did leave. And there's a lot of options out there that I'll take as Carlisle manager. I just want to stay away from the Carlisle. Stay away from any relation to Carlisle. That's including Carlisle player, Carlisle manager. Stay away from it, because we'll be back to square one again. Like we're on the Paul Simpson, where it's just going to be sentiments and keep him past there, sell by there. And Paul Simpson, for me, he got found out because he had no plan B. He stuck to the same old 5-3-2 or 3-5-2, whichever way you want to look at it. And with the squad we've got, I don't think our signs are actually been that bad. John Jones, Charlie White, too good for Year 2. But they shouldn't be playing football like Paul Simpson is. We need to be playing more positive football. So I think the owners with the signs they made of Jordan Jones and Charlie White, that really put Paul Simpson under massive pressure to deliver early on in the season as well. So for me, on paper, our squad on paper, we should be in the top 3. It's not me being arrogant. But our season can still be saved now, because 40 odd games still remain, still a lot of games remaining as well. And a new voice is probably needed in the dressing room as well. And just go away from the 5-4. Well, play more attacking football. That's what I want.
Yeah, no, it's a bit interesting where Carlisle go on, especially after today's game against Bradford. Dan, actually, I wanted to speak to you about one of the League One teams that only played today that could go top of the table is Wrexham. Wrexham have had a good start, and they're playing against Shrewsbury Town. The last time them two played in a league game was back in 2008 when Wrexham lost the double 1-0 and 3-0, but they did win in the FA Cup against them this early this past year. How does Phil Parkinson do you see them getting promoted this season, or is it too early for Wrexham for their promotion challenge?
I'd say they've got as good a chance as anybody. They've heavily spent, obviously, which is visible for all to see. They've got the backing. I dare say they've probably got one up on Salford, with the money of the class of 90. Is it 92, 94? Yeah, 92. Mine's going blank. But yeah, they've sort of, as much as they've got the money, they've built themselves steadily. They've not been stupid. They've managed to bring a striker in who has technically should probably be a championship striker. Paul Mullin is probably I feel like I've just bigged him up and I'm going to drag him down, but a bottom end championship striker, somewhere like a Sheffield Wednesday or something like that. I think he'd be perfect there. But they've managed to keep hold of someone like that, build a team around him, and eventually there will be a day that comes where they'll have to obviously replace and look better if that's the trajectory that they're on. But they're following on this, run that they're on with that result against Peterborough last week. Phenomenal performance up against a promotion contender in Peterborough themselves and beat them to sum up on. I think didn't Shrewsbury won at home to Orient?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's Wrexham are going to throw everything at it, and why not? You look at teams now, even above you, teams in the Championship as well will be looking at teams like Ipswich when they just came up and then got up again. It's the same with League One and League Two, apart from Rotherham that seem to just be there and thereabouts every single season between League One and the Champ. But personally, I think Wrexham are going to be the team to beat for League One. They've got everything in terms of the financial structure, the squad. It's just a case if they can keep that momentum going over a whole season. I think it's a bit cliche, but that's what you want, isn't it? You've got that high of promotion the season before. Can you keep that high going? Because all it takes is a couple of injuries and a couple of losses, and confidence can just drop. So, fingers crossed they can keep it up for them and their supporters. But for me, I think Wrexham are going to be the team to beat this season.
I think it's going to be interesting as well too. We know Charlton are also in the top six as well. They're playing against Rotherham United. It seems that somehow Charlton is slowly, after the last few years of ownership issues, manager issues, it seems that under Nathan Jones, it looked like there's a bit of stability, and even with the ex-Sunderland owner Charlie Metham as well, there's a bit of stability. But do you have worries that it could crumble at some point for Charlton this season? Because we know they've been trying to get back into the Championship for a good few seasons now.
Yeah. The thing is, obviously, the gaffer there is quite well known for having a really good positive start. It's just once he's sort of has a loss, that Reading game probably, send him a bit over the edge. But the thing is, Charlton, again, you said it, pushing and pushing season in, season out to try and get themselves back up to, I think growing up, I remember my first sticker album and Charlton were in the Premier League. It was madness. The players like Jason Ewell and stuff like that. I loved it. So I think they will have success again. But you look at League One and the teams that are in there now, it's mental where half of these teams were and the stadiums that they've got, and yet they're playing in the lower leagues of English football. But yeah, it's going to be a tough test for Charlton. Similar, let's spin it as well. Rotherham, great win for them over Huddersfield. Obviously, Michael Duff manager there now. So a couple of Burnley ties, but is it Steve Evans?
Steve Evans, yeah, for his second
mentalist.
Yeah.
Absolute mentalist, a psychopath, hates losing, obviously. I think we've all seen that from that recent video on social media, but he's got the most unorthodox sort of clapping to the fans with his fist pumping. I thought he were having a stroke, but each to their own. But yeah, sometimes you want a madman in charge, because when they are sane, you listen. But when they are mad, you're like, yeah, I want to get mad too. It fits well. It's the only issue is he's gone back to a club that is obviously had a lot of ties with. Been there. I think this is his third stint. Is it as manager?
I was thinking first stint.
It's strange. You don't usually see that sort of in football. I think the only time you see a manager come back is it's similar to the David Moyes story at West Ham. And then nobody wanted him the first time. Second time, it seemed to pay off. But it's all about right time. And for now, I think he suits Rotherham and the vision of trying to get back to the Championship for one more year.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm 100% agree with that as well. I'm going to ask you this. You give me who are your top two in the EFL League One to go up? Because we got Birmingham. They spent big on getting Jay Stansford from Fulham for £10 million. Huddersfield's had a decent till that loss against Rotherham. Who are your top two to go to be going to the Championship next season? Sorry, Dad. I apologise. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
right.
I think it was me. I've accidentally pressed mute.
No worries.
No, I think we've got this weird, strange rivalry with Stockport. Don't know why. Well, I think it's obviously goes off the playoff final a good few years in the 90s. They don't like us because of that. But I still think Stockport are going to be up there. I think they were absolutely. I don't know. There's something about them. Why not though? Why not? This is a question I was speaking to mates about at the pub other week. That you've got your big Manchester clubs, you've got Manchester United, Manchester City, but those little teams dotted around, your Rochdale, your Oldham, your Stockport, that are all around that sort of area. Even Macclesfield are still, trying to fight their way back into the football pyramid. And it's nice to see them creeping up. I remember going onto the turf when I were about 6, 7 year old. I think one of the first games I saw at the turf was against Stockport, and we were playing teams like Stockport and Boston United. Bloody hell! So
Demon as well. Yeah, no, God.
yeah, it's. I think Stockport for me are going to be in there. It's a tough one. It all depends on injuries and form between Wrexham and Birmingham for me. I think Birmingham have took a massive risk by buying big, especially in League One.
Yeah.
But they've got players there that believe in the vision, and I'd say Birmingham edge it because them as a club, they're a massive club in the Midlands. So I'd say them. No disrespect to Wrexham and Wrexham supporters, but Stockport and Birmingham. I'm going to go with the Northwest and the lads from the Midlands.
Absolutely. One more. Who will win the playoffs? That's another question now. Because that's another tough one.
If it was based off who was in it now, as the Birmingham third, Lincoln fourth, Huddersfield and Charlton. The playoffs is madness. It's one of them where you could say no, they third place. I mean, look at yourselves, Carl. Being a lead support, getting over 90 odd points and still not. You'll understand. Obviously, you understand where these. Oh, you'd expect that's it. We're going up. That's it. We've done enough. And then the team in sixth end up doing it in playoffs or something like that. So it's going to be tough to call. If it is as it is now, then
Yeah. No, you're right with that one. Go on. Sorry.
I'm going to say Charlton Wrexham final and Wrexham to edge it. It's going to go all the way to a penalty shootout. It's going to be heartbreak for somebody. It's going to be one of those really dragged out games, and yet everybody just on, centre hooks.
Wow. You heard it here first. Yeah, that is what the predictions could come what in May next May. Dan, I appreciate that. And do you know what, Dan? I am going to finish the show a bit early because it was a short show because of the international break, and I wanted to focus on the Leagues One, Leagues Two. And thank you for being a spot for joining us as well. Where can everyone find you?
If I'm not behind your bins, I will be probably laying on the sofa. But yeah, at Turf Moorhouse, doing Burnley content, and yeah, just feel free to check us out. And yeah, I'll be speaking to you on Tuesday evening.
Yes, you will. We are
So
doing
that
our
should be
match
fun.
preview. Yes, it will be. It should be fun as well. I did not expect to, well, especially early this season, especially what Leeds were going through. You guys were starting off flying well. It was like this is evenly matched coming up to next Saturday. So very evenly matched between our two teams this next weekend.
Yeah, it's going to make for a good one.
Absolutely as well. Dan, as always, thank you for being a sport for joining me
Well, thank
today.
you very much for having me.
And that is going to be the end of the show. I am going to finish early today. There's no upcoming content tomorrow on Tuesday because of the international break, but I am back on next Saturday as well. So we'll be doing the Saturday show back at the usual time, 11 a.m. as for the Premier League's back. Doug, you asking, is that 12:30? No, I think the England game's later this afternoon at about before five, about half before five, isn't it? I can take it down between Ireland and England 'cause I think that's where the kickoff is going to be. Oh, Dan's gone. Yeah, I think it's the England game. I think the time for that one is at 5 o'clock, Doug. So the game will be on at 5 o'clock on ITV. We do know the 12:30 games, especially today. No 12:30 games today as well, but it is. But the England Ireland game is on at 5 o'clock live on ITV1 or NSTV from all in the regions of each of the UK as well. But no, thank you very much for everyone for joining. Thank you to Chris. Chris, hope you have. I know. I don't know if you're going down to Bradford today to watch your team, but have a good trip down to Bradford. Like I said, thank you for everyone to joining. Good morning to Chris from Leicester Till Die. I know this is what I like this comment. How is Piss Pop feeling right now? Well, yeah, especially he didn't take the job that you wanted him at Leicester, and he's not at England. It's not a surprise at all as well. But no, listen, I appreciate for everyone for joining for being in the comments and joining me live as well too. Like I say, you can follow our channel here at the Totally Leaving the Whole Football Podcast on our YouTube channel, as well as on our over social media platforms and podcast services as well. But that is it. I hope everyone has a good weekend, and I'll see you guys back next Saturday. I'm glad I have a bit of a week break, but I am on with Dan next Tuesday on the Turf Moor House TV on his channel for the Leeds Burnley pre-match preview on Tuesday at 8 p.m. So don't miss that one as well. But as I said, everyone have a good weekend, and I'll see you sometime next week. Take care for now. Bye bye.